So now we're going to start what the procedures for how we do the report.
Mm-hmm. And so the steps of the report is you're going to show the surface EMG first, and then you have x-rays. So then you're going to go over x-ray, and then you're going to go into your other findings from the technology you have, and then go over recommendations. So that's kind of the flow of it. Before we go into the surface EMG, though, we're in a pretty close proximity here. You're at the end of the table, I'm on the side. We're the only ones, it's more intimate. I come in, welcome them back. Great to have you back. We're going to go over the results today from the tests we did yesterday. Before we do that, Brad, I want to make sure you fully understand what a subluxation is. Do you remember from yesterday what a subluxation is?
Yeah.
All right, tell me, what is it?
So it's when those bones in the spine shift and it puts pressure on the nerves and disrupts the message going to the cells.
So a lot of times you don't get that. But if you get someone that just tells you exactly what it is, excellent. Think of, if you want to ask more, you can kind of tell if someone's,
If they get it or not.
if they're getting it or not. Usually it's like, oh, you want me to tell you what it is? Yeah, I do. What happens when that nerve, when these bones shift and misalign? That's a subluxation, but what happens there? What happens, Brad?
It's pinching a nerve.
It's pinching a nerve. When the nerve's pinched, that information coming down and out to the body, is it getting there?
Not at 100%.
Not at 100%. Some of it's still getting there, but not to its full potential. So if that's happening and it's your low back muscles, it's your intestine, it's not going to work to its full potential, is it?
No.
So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the test results, and it's going to show us where your subluxations are, and I'm going to go over a recommendation of how we need to change this environment. Okay?
Okay.
So with these tests, Brad, white is always going to be normal. Okay? Green is mild severe, blue's moderate severe, red is severe severe, black is also on that severe severe end. The reason you may be thinking is mild severe, moderate severe, severe severe is any subluxation, any stress on your nerve system is severe. And you'll always hear me say that. So if this is healthy, Brad, is this healthy or unhealthy? This is yours.
Unhealthy.
Yeah. I got some tests here that you don't have. You only comment on the ones that there's results you want to comment on. That's the allogometry, nothing going on there. I don't even say anything about it. You have x-rays, so I would say, okay, healthy or unhealthy. You just answered unhealthy. Yes, Brad, I want to show you your x-rays. Here, what I do is, let me pull some up, find an example.
You can just pretend like there's one there.
Yeah. What I would do is, don't go over every view. You draw on your x-rays, right? So, find the key subluxations you want to see. Don't go over, yeah, you got lipping and spurring here. Hypolordosis. Here's a subluxation. I'm concerned about this. Go to your next film. This is a subluxation. Or if you have someone that has extreme head forward posture and a loss of the normal curve in the neck, and that's a key thing for that individual, I would go, Brad, this is a normal. This is yours. Is this healthy or unhealthy? And that's a key question. Is this healthy or unhealthy? So you just said unhealthy there. If you have a lateral cervical, normal and where they're at, is this healthy or unhealthy? Unhealthy. Yeah, that's correct. You move on to the next thing. So you're really, the x-rays that we send people up to Albuquerque and again, we have them in here, I'm spending maybe 20 seconds going over x-rays.
So the key component here is for them to acknowledge it's unhealthy.
Healthy or unhealthy. And they're admitting that they are unhealthy. We did it with the Surface EMG. We've now done it with X-ray. See, I don't have X-ray yet on everyone unless I've sent them up to Albuquerque. So I'm doing everything right here. But just as effective, healthy or unhealthy, healthy or unhealthy. You're getting it multiple times. So this is one. Do you get this graph with your Surface EMG?
We can.
This is a good one for interpretation purposes, Brad. The white area is the normal. The key thing is we want that black line to go right down the center of that white region. Another key thing for interpretation is where you see breaks or quick changes are subluxations. So there's a couple ways you can go about it. What I would do with this is say, Brad, what I want to show you, remember those colors, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do we see here? Healthy or unhealthy?
Unhealthy.
Correct. Now, one thing I want to point out, you see all these jagged lines in here?
Uh-huh.
Every point we have that is a subluxation in your body and spine. But I have a question for you. 90% of our nerve system's energy is put towards your postural muscles to keep us from being a blob on the ground, to keep us upright, fight gravity. You're tired all the time, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you want to know why? It's because your body's putting so much energy into keeping you up off the ground that it has no other energy to go to other functions in your body, so you feel fatigued and tired all the time. And that's a key part of this. I ask people that question, especially if their scan's smooth and even and not real jagged. You're gonna get, no, I'm not tired. But people that are bouncing all over the place in bumpy lines, that person's fatigued, tired, drained, because their body's putting all of its energy here. And that's a key thing. That's where I've actually had a lot of the female practice members that I go over this report and I ask that question, that's where they start. They literally will start crying with that question because it's like, how do you know I'm crying? I mean, how do you know I'm crying? How do you know I'm tired and wiped out all the time? And this is why all your energy is going somewhere to this and nowhere else. And it's a big click.
Do you ever have anyone say, no, I'm not really tired? I mean, because they're in denial, because they really don't realize that they are.
Well, what I would do is with that is like, I would go, okay, I'm surprised that you're not, because this scan is telling me that your body's putting so much energy to this one thing, it can't function well elsewhere. You're familiar, you have kids, and when you've gone to your pediatrician, they've told you your child's in the 80th percentile of height and weight, right?
Mm-hmm.
This scan is telling me you're in the 52nd percentile. That's not healthy, is it?
No.
So you can spin it. I don't want to say spin it, but you can take it, I'm not tired and fatigued all the time, and put it into something they're familiar with. They have kids, they know height, weight, percentiles. This graph gives us percentiles of the energy distribution, and they're in the 52nd percentile. And based off of that, if it's a baby and they're in the 52nd percentile, they're not a healthy baby.
And they're going to do something about it.
And so we're putting that here. You're familiar with that percentile with an infant. We're putting you in a percentile of how your body's distributing energy to the body, and you're not.
Okay.
Healthy or unhealthy. Back to that, and you could do it a bunch of different ways, but it's always drawing back and asking questions to get them to see healthy or unhealthy. A lot of times people, jagged, they're fatigued.
Yeah.
End of the discussion on that one. And then I go to the thermal scan. Brad, you remember that once again, those colors. is this a healthy or unhealthy scan?
Unhealthy.
It is unhealthy. Now, where we see these blocks right here, where it's more than one segment that's high, like we have right here, that tells me we have chronic failure of this part of the nerve system. And what concerns me, this is the part of the nerve system that goes to your organs, glands, and blood vessels. And what I did is I took our nerve chart and I took where you're showing subluxations and I highlighted them on this chart for you. And you can look at that when you're at home, and I usually find, because I've asked system questions in their exam, and like a constipation, low back, you're constipated, I'll connect that one dot for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I'll go from the thermal scan into the heart rate variability. This person's is a good one. So if it's good, you skip it. And I'll go into the recommendation part. But let's say you see a lot of these down in the orange to red area. Let's just say that's where they're at. Usually I'll take my highlighter and draw a line like that. Do you have a heart rate variability one? No?
No, it's coming up.
Thinking about it. So this is a way you can tie the gap, is by using this number. Heart rate variability, gap, NSFI, they're all pretty close. You can use this as their ceiling because it's the autonomic activity that really is gap, where NSFI is. Gap and NSFI are the same thing.
Okay.
You can use it. Usually the number here is within a few points of the NSFI. Actually, CLA is coming out with a core score here in a little bit, which is heart rate variability, thermography, and CMG. Those are the core things we look at. And so when they get that and you're able to get that upgrade in your system, core score will roll into what we are using for the NSFI right now, and it rolls right into the recommendation easy. So
let me ask you a question about the NSFI. Where's that data coming from?
It's what an NSFI is we have all the results of your tests, and it gives us a number. It's called your neurospinal functional index at 64.94. That's putting you in the challenged area, Brad. Ideally, we want you in the good to excellent. So based on where your body's at, it's going to take 10 to 12 months to get you to the point of wellness. We start out at 3 times a week for the first 90 days. In that window, we're going to do 2 of these scans again, one after 18 to 20 visits, and again at 90 visits. The first one, I'm not looking for miracles. I just want to start to see some of your nerve system, some aspects to start to change. The 90-day scan, I want to see your patterns starting to change. And at that point, we'll determine if you move up in care. And what I mean by move up in care is your body's responding to what we're doing. And I don't need to adjust you as often. And we can go to a twice a week or once a week schedule at that point. We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but that's how we'll start, and we'll stay on that schedule to the end of that cycle. Revisit it at 12 months, however you want it, whatever your care plans are. Well, that's how I do it. Is this tells me where they need to be at. If I see someone coming in at a good, I might say, you know what, it's going to take 8 to 10 months to get you to the point of wellness. We're going to start out at 3 times a week. Do that for 90 days. We're going to do 2 of these scans in that time frame. And then we'll reassess where we need to go from there and move you up in care.
So you're using the term wellness,
Mm-hmm.
but on here it says excellent, good, transition. Did you ever have anyone ask that question? Where is wellness on this? Did they just assume it's excellent?
Well, on the intake form, we have that graph sideways. It's something I did. CLA has an intake form that they use for their creating wellness centers. And I kind of looked at it and liked parts of it, didn't like parts of it. But one thing we were using with CLA and other office, if you look on the website, is a form where it asks someone to rate where they're at. So it's put in X where you think you are, on this, and people put an X, put a circle where you want to be. So people have seen that before this point.
Okay, so they're saying where you want to be, they're circling where they want to be, or where they are.
They're putting a check where they feel like they are, and they're putting a circle where they want to be.
Okay.
So you're getting them already intake form thinking, I know I'm challenged, I know I'm transitional, I know I'm good, but I want to be better than where I'm at. So I haven't had to really dive into it at this point, because people have said unhealthy, 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 unhealthy. So when I go over to change this, to get you to a point of wellness, 12 to 18 months, 8 to 10, whatever you use for that person, we're going to start out at 3 times a week for the first 90 days and reassess that. Let's go get you adjusted. I haven't had many people question at this point. They see the issue. Like this morning, the gentleman was real quiet at the end of that. I said, to get your point of wellness, it's going to take 10 to 12 months. We start out at this.
Okay, go for it.
Usually what we do when we get to GAP, when we get to the heart rate variability, I've already, with all this paperwork, drawn it, right on it before they even get here. Don't do it in front of them. So I'll have, this one didn't come out with a space. Usually the heart rate variability is up here and there's a blank space below it. But I'll draw out the gap before and say, I want to go over one thing with this test. This line is failure. This line's optimal function. Our body, our nerve system has a function in between these 2 points. Right, Brad?
Yeah.
So based on this test, your ceiling is at a 40. Your body's functioning in here. Is that healthy or unhealthy?
Unhealthy.
That's right. Do you know what brings that ceiling down, Brad?
Falling down?
Falling down, physical stresses, chemical stresses, emotional stresses. Those all bring the ceiling down, and you have so much of that going on in your life today. Our goal is to bring that up. We do that through the adjustment. We do that through lifestyle changes, and we can get that to happen. It's going to take time. But if we don't do anything about it, you've heard of when you're sick, you get sicker quicker. That's not going to change. It's only going to get worse over time.
Makes sense.
So what we're recommending, and this is where I'll just slide that over if you have the NSFI, or if when you have the core score, or right now you don't have any of those numbers, that's what you're going to have to create something to rate them on this stress level, because you can go based on your NSFI, which takes all the tests we did today and puts it on this chart. You're in a challenged area. You've told us on your intake form that you want to be in good or excellent. It's going to take 12 to 18 months. With this person, it's going to take 12 to 18 months to get you to a point of wellness. To do that, we're starting out at 3 times a week, 90 days, and you just go through. Let's go get you adjusted.
Okay. So at that point, you don't say anything about what you're going to adjust, why, anything like that. You're just going to...
Does a person really care?
Only a C personality.
What and why?
Yeah, only a C personality.
Yeah. So
but then you might get those people who are like, okay, that's good for now.
So you'll get the people that ask, well, what is an adjustment and stuff like that. You get them at the table. So what I do is from here, I go out to the table, and on my way out there, I'll ask Brad, have you ever been adjusted before? Yes, no. Yeah, I have, but it's been several months. Well, let me show you my table. I explain the drop pieces on the table. I explain how they'll lay on their stomach and how I'm going to adjust a few of the subluxations today because I don't want to overwhelm their body.
Okay, so we're going to skip to, we don't need to necessarily explain what we're doing with the adjustment, that part, but let's just say we've done an adjustment, and
So
then
I just
what
got done
happens?
with the,
Just finish the adjustment.
So, Brad, that's it for today. Sit on up. What we're going to do now is I'm going to take you to Amanda. Amanda's going to go over the finances and your schedule. I walk over here. Amanda meets me in the room here, and she goes into our financial office, and she goes over it.
Okay.
I mean, it's really too simple.
Okay, so let's say, how do you handle financial objections or anything like that when?
If someone in the room is like, well, and you will get this, how much is this going to cost? Let's go get you adjusted. Wait, how much is this going to cost? Or you go over the recommendation. Do you have any questions about what I just went over? How much does it cost? Great, that's a good question, Brad. I understand. I don't handle the finances in our office. Amanda does. Let me go get her. She'll go over everything.
So say that's pre-adjustment. So you say you're in your room.
If it's
If you're
pre-adjustment,
having that question, you say, you know what, let's take care of that before the adjustment. You do that before.
yeah.
Okay.
My goal is to get the person adjusted and then let the finances be done after.
Right.
Because if you're doing finances before the adjustment and they come and get adjusted, it ends up and you have multiple reports in a row, you're going to bog the system up.
Right.
Just run smoother, get them adjusted and go. And so if a person's really interested in moving forward, but they ask that financial question, and you can just say, Brad, let me do this. Let's do this. Let me get you adjusted for today. And Amanda's already told them, but before the report, which we missed before the report, is say, you know what, if the doctor decides to adjust you today, there's going to be a charge, it's X. You know, here it's $55 for that adjustment. You know, if they adjust today, whatever the verbiage you want in there. And so, let's go get you adjusted today. Oh, I don't want to do that until I know how much. Okay, I'll take them out and have them go into the file
Before the
take
adjustment.
them out of your report room so you can do another report. And then if they're moving forward, that's probably Nikki. If they're moving forward, we'll get them adjusted after. Are you holding to your guns and only doing that?
No.
Okay, so we'll do twice a week, once a week,
Yeah.
whatever. And so I think that's a key thing. After going through the report, Amanda will go, this is Dr. Ryan's best recommendation for you. Back to that question we asked on that first visit, all right, we give you our best recommendation. Well, yeah, this is it. 3 times a week, and this is a charge, and go through all the financial aspect of that. And the person's like, well, no, Amanda has the liberty to go, well, here's other, in that she goes, here's other options. Does one
So they get
will this
converted
work
to
for you?
something most
They're
of the
getting
time.
converted. Rather than being adjusted here at a lesser frequency than
Somewhere
nowhere,
else.
or somewhere else.
So if they, for example, financially they need to, do you guys even do like adjustment packages? Do you do that? Or do you like 6 adjustments, 12 adjustments? So you just do...
People start to plan, we haven't had a person yet that was 100% no, I don't even want that. If that's the case, what we'll say, we want to be here to serve you, Brad. I understand right now is not the time for you to start on one of these plans, But if you're needing it adjusted and you want to come in and get an adjustment, it's a $55. You know, I think before we started doing the new process, we have an older guy who owns a business down the street, and he travels all over the country. And he started on a regular plan, 3 times a week, paid for it, and halfway through he's like, I didn't even think I travel all over the place, and I'm gonna be gone for a month starting a new business in Arizona and blah, 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 blah. And I know it's legit because I go into his business. I know he's not there. And I said, you know what, this is the best thing, Felix. When you're in town, you want to get adjusted, right? Yeah, I need it. So let's just pay each time you come in. How does that sound? Good. Okay, great. Yeah, I mean, the guy was happier than anything. That I would still adjust him when he was in town, but he wasn't fitting into our system, but we were able to accommodate him, which is more work on your girls having to monitor that, who's in that situation, but really how many people are going to be in that situation? Not many.